All right. Hello, my practical people. This is LaShanya LeCount, aka the Practical Therapist, licensed speech language pathologist. And today I wanted to come to you guys with a sensory based activities that you can do. I'm making little pumpkins for the fall Halloween season. Some of my listeners on Anchor and on YouTube, you guys may have heard that last week I was supposed to go live on 10/22. However, I had a little head cold, and right now I am drinking tea. So even though it is the afternoon here in Georgia, I am still adjusting this crown to get my day started. So let me take a sip of tea. So hopefully I can get my voice together and give you guys some great activities. But it doesn't matter if you can't hear me. So let me sip a little tea. All right, so I am ready. As you'll see, I'm sitting on the floor in my living room because I do have some activities that require a little bit of glue. And I'll first tell you, if you want to do this, you do want to do this activity in a space where you don't mind getting things messy. So what I have here is a towel on the floor where I'm sitting. That way, if I happen to spill a little glue, it's a towel. It's not a big deal. I can wash it. So basically, when it comes to sensory-based activities, sensory for the most part talks about touch, feel, hearing, sight, basically all of your senses. However, you do have some children who may have sensory needs that can prevent them from participating in certain activities because it may be too overstimulating. If it's, for example, a fall festival and it's a lot of noise, it's a lot of activities going on, or it's something that you would like for your child to participate in, but you're just not sure how they will act or react, I decided to come up with activities for you as a parent that you can try in the comfort of your own home where you still feel like your child can celebrate the fall or Halloween season, especially if your child has a developmental delay or neurological delay or any other type of disorder that can affect their sensory abilities to integrate what's going on in their environment. These activities are also great for just targeting overall language communication skills. So basic language and communication skills. So starting off here, I have a little pumpkin here that I made out of felt. So some of the materials you'll need here for this first activity is felt, green felt for the stem of the pumpkin, black felt for the eyes. You can see I've already started cutting some here, and orange felt for the body of the pumpkin here. So you'll need that, and I'll put the link where I purchased the felt. Also, you can go online and get any basic template. This is a pumpkin template. Here is, I'll bring it a little bit closer to the screen so hopefully you can see it here. A little cutout that I created here that would represent the eyes and the nose. And I've also done another cutout for the mouth and a little cutout here that represents the stem of the pumpkin. And I'll put the link where I got those items as well. I went to Canva, so I'll put that link in the description box. So what is the first thing we can do with this pumpkin felt activity, and what type of language and communication skills can you target? Well, the first thing you can do is work on following directions and language. So we're going to do it together. And I would suggest that you have these items pre-cut just to save time so you can actually work on this activity and not lose your child's attention while you're trying to cut different things or anything like that. You can cut out different shapes. So first thing here, we have a pumpkin. So again, because felt has a different type of smooth yet almost rubbery type of texture, you can definitely talk to your child about how smooth the pumpkin is, the color of the pumpkin. You can have your child run their hand or finger rather along the shape of the pumpkin. Again, you're integrating attention and sensory. You're talking about the touch, the feel of the pumpkin. And so the first thing you would do, you could grab some glue here. Let's see, put all these materials here. Here we go. So the first thing you can do is take your pumpkin, take one of the little cutouts here that can represent the eye, You take some glue. Now, if your child is able to, if they have the fine motor ability, you can hand them the glue. I would definitely suggest a glue stick. Like you can see here, this is the regular Elmer's glue stick. That way you don't have a really big mess. And just put some glue on one side of the cutout in here. Stick it on. You've got one eye for your pumpkin. Okay? You can take another cutout that represents an eye, glue it on, stick it on the pumpkin, and now you have two eyes. So some language skills you can target here. Following directions. Okay, let's pick up an eye. Your child would pick up an eye. Okay, we need the glue. That's receptive language. Your child can look for the glue. If they're not sure what the glue is, you can point it out to them, especially if it's sitting with other things like scissors or beads or anything like that. You can have your child put some glue on the eye. Okay, let's glue the eye onto the pumpkin. There it is. All right. How many eyes does our pumpkin have? We can do some basic counting. 1, 2. Our pumpkin has 2 eyes. Okay, show me your eyes. You can ask your child to show you their eyes on their body and on their face. They can point out the eyes. You can also ask, okay, now show me mommy's eyes, show me daddy's eyes. They can show you your eyes on your face, and you can also go back to the pumpkin. Okay, we found my eyes, we found your eyes. Now where's the pumpkin's eyes? And here we are. Next, we would get another cutout that could represent the nose. And again, it would be the same sequence of following directions, such as get the glue, glue on the nose, put the nose on the pumpkin. Again, you can go through this basic sequence of body parts on the face. Okay, show me your nose. And you have your pumpkin face here. And here you can also ask your child, okay, are we done, or does the pumpkin need something else? I see his eyes. I see his nose. What does our pumpkin need? And you can make a noise like a popping sound with your mouth to represent the mouth. Oh, I think our pumpkin needs a mouth. Let's see if we can find a mouth. And then once you find the mouth, you can, again, glue the mouth onto the pumpkin. And so we want happy pumpkins, so we're going to do happy mouths today. So again, take some glue, and you want to glue the length of the mouth around here. Okay. Here. Stick it on, and voila. We have a pumpkin face. So if we want to move more into colors, we can talk about the stem. So you can put the stem here on the front of the pumpkin or in the back. Just so the front of the pumpkin is not crowded, I'm going to glue mine to the back here. So I'm going to put some glue on the little pumpkin stem here, stick it onto the back of my pumpkin, and voila. We've got a felt-based pumpkin activity. Again, we can work on the sensory component by the touch of the pumpkin and how it feels being made out of felt, because all of these pieces are made out of felt. We can run our finger along the pumpkin. Also, we can run our finger along the stem of the pumpkin. We can run our finger along the shape of the pumpkin's eyes, his nose, and his mouth. And you have it here. Now, again, we've targeted some basic concepts following directions, receptive language, and body parts. And we've done it all under 10 minutes. So the next and final activity for today's session is a glittery bead-based sensory pumpkin. Let me get it close to the camera so you can see. If you look very close, you'll see the glitter glue, which is orange, and I'm going to bring it in just a little closer. You should be able to see some of the beads there as well. Here we go. All right, so good. I think that's good. So with this, again, what I've done is I've taken felt because I found that for me personally, the felt seems to help the glitter glue and the beads stick on here. Now, we'll talk about what you can do from a sensory standpoint once this dries. Mine is not completely dry. I did kind of go over it this morning before I went live. So I'll talk about what we can do with it as far as using our fingers to work on some sensory based touching activities. But I'm going to let mine dry, but I just wanted you guys to see it. All right. I feel my throat getting a little froggy here, so let me take a quick pause and drink my tea. Excuse me, guys. Okay, so as you can see, I've already pre-cut the pumpkin. I've already pre-cut the stem. So pretty much you would go ahead and glue the stem onto the back of this pumpkin or front, whichever you prefer. Since I am doing the sensory based here, I'm going to do it a little bit differently so I can have a point of reference as I make my little line. So I'm going to go ahead and take some glue and glue on the stem to the front of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to probably have to back up to show you guys how to use the glue with the beads. So again, I purchased the glitter glue here that I have. Bring that in close, some orange glitter glue, as well as these little glass beads. Bring that in close so you guys can see. I purchased this also from the same place I purchased the felt. So again, I'll put that in the description box. That way, if you can't find it exactly at the same store, you at least know what it looks like. So I'm gonna bring that in close again. It's called Chez. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Glass beads. And then just orange glitter glue here. Okay, so let me back up a little bit so you guys can see. Alrighty. So what I did here is I took my pumpkin. See if you guys can see this. I think so. Yeah. All right. Should be able to see. So I took this here, the pumpkin, and I pretty much just took some of my glitter glue and did more so of an up and down design. Now, again, you can do any type of design you want. You can make it. Hold on one second, guys. Oh, I forgot. I had the little stopper in here to take that out. Okay. All right, let me put this top back on. Okay, so if you wanted to make a line here, for example, and just do some traditional pumpkin lines to kind of mimic the lines and grooves that you would see in a pumpkin, you can do that as well, as you've seen here. That's what I did here. That would be totally fine. If you wanted to put more designs and lines on it, like I did for my other demonstration pumpkin, you can do that as well. I'm just going to put a few lines here to sort of mimic the grooves of a pumpkin. Make sure I have it fairly well covered. And again, this is something that you can also do hand over hand with your child. So hand over hand would be your hand over their hand. And that way you can control the amount of glue that comes out of the pumpkin. You don't have to worry about your child squeezing a lot out and making a huge mess. But again, that's also helping your child maintain attention to what they're doing, because of course, glue, especially glittery glue, it's going to be shiny, it's going to be bright, it's going to have sparkles, so it's going to get their attention. And also it allows you to work with your child directly and keep them focused on an activity that they're doing. So once you've put a fair amount of the glitter glue onto your pumpkin, now we can proceed to use the beads. So again, make sure you open these up very carefully, guys. If not, they may pop and spill all over the place, and you don't want to spend time chasing down some of these beads. So what I've done is I've decided to just pour a few in my hand here, as such. Put the beads down to make sure they don't roll away or doesn't tip over. And then put the beads all over. Make sure I cover the pumpkin fairly well, and making sure that I put the beads on certain places where I put the glitter also to allow the beads to stick. And this is something too that you can also do with your child. Now, definitely, if you have a child that has an oral fixation, I would definitely, supervise them, make sure they're not trying to put the beads in their mouth. Again, you could offer that hand over hand assistance so you're guiding and controlling what they do. And of course, while you're doing this activity, you would be using language, you would be talking. Again, you would be talking about the color of the pumpkin, the fact that it's orange. You would be talking about the stem, the fact that it's green. You could talk about the glitter glue. You can talk about how many lines you're going to put on. You can count the lines of the glitter glue. You can shake the beads with the lid closed as you get ready to open them, sort of getting your child prepped and excited for something. As they're looking at the beads and wondering what you're going to do with them. And then you can also listen to the beads as they drop onto the pumpkin. All right. Make sure I have all of mine on here so none of them roll off. All right. I think I had just a few that came off. Let me put a few of those back on here. I think that's good. Yep. I've got one more that tried to escape and run away. All right, guys. Okay. Let me pull it back up here. All right. So here you can see we just did a pumpkin activity here using the glitter glue and those beads. Let me bring it in closer so you guys can see the glitter glue and the beads to really get your child interested in it and from a sensory standpoint ready to touch it. So let's talk about what happens once it dries. So obviously this would need a couple hours or a day or so to dry. And what you can do is once your pumpkin is dry, obviously you can trace or go over the lines that you created with the glue with your child with their finger. Go over it. Talk about touching the pumpkin. If your child is nonverbal, just having them feel it. If they're looking at you and they're looking back from the pumpkin to you and then back to the pumpkin, that lets you know that you have their attention, that they're engaged, and that gives you an opportunity to talk about it. If you want to hang it up or put it somewhere, for example, on the fridge to decorate your fridge and to show off some of the work that your child has done, you can definitely do that. So again, I just wanted to come and give you guys a quick little tutorial. There'll be more coming, but since we are at the end of October and Halloween is in a couple of days, I just wanted to make sure that you, as my practical parents, had some different activities that you can do with your child at home to still get into the fall or Halloween spirit, so to speak. If you don't feel comfortable taking your child out to a regular activity, or if you're concerned about, sensory overload or anything like that. Oh, I just heard a bead fall. I guess I should hold it like this since this one is fresh and new. So I just want to give you guys some activities again that you can do to work on sensory-based pumpkin activities, following directions, naming simple basic body parts, identifying simple materials that would be needed, like the glue, like the glitter. So all of that. So again, I'll have the information for where you can find these different items. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this video. Definitely check back, and I will be coming up with some other videos soon that I think you guys will enjoy. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon.